Hello,
Hi, is that Al?
speaking.
Hi, it's Vanya calling from Universal Credit. Were
Y-
you aware of the appointment today?
yeah, I am, and I have been waiting for your phone call.
Brilliant. Let me just get you for security. Hold on. So when you created your account, your username ends in ANY and your postcode in 5EG. Is that correct?
Well, it was the name that I was known for, even till the now, and I explained this to you, but it is ending with ANANY.
Yeah.
That's the surname,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's BH25EG.
Yeah. Brilliant. I only have access to the last three digits. So then you had two security questions. The first one was what color was your first car?
Green.
Green. And then what make was your first car?
It was VW.
Okay, there you go. That's all successfully completed. How have you been since we last spoke? So I briefly explained to you on Friday the reason for the call, so to go over your commitments whilst you are in Universal Credit. But we didn't really get a chance to, obviously talk about the commitments and the requirements whilst you are in Universal Credit. So I've rebooked it for today.
Yes, you explained this to me. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I see that as well that Lisa has gotten back to you with your queries. Yeah.
She explained to me she's gonna post a letter, and I explained to her that I would need another copy as well via email. It's just because I'm not sure if it will be safe to receive it here in terms of, all posts are everywhere, and the door can sometimes close, and the postman can leave it outside. So uh, anyway, I explained to her, and yeah, thank you.
Okay, that's fine. She will, like I said, give her a little bit of time because everything happened over since last week. And if you haven't heard from anything, then you can always contact her to chase it up, okay?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, brilliant. So we need to go through your commitments, okay? And that's just, us talking through, what your current circumstances are at the moment. I understand that last week you mentioned that you were moving abroad, but until that happens, we need to make sure that we do everything as possible to make sure that, we are filling up that time until you do know and until you have a set date. And if things change, then we can always create a change of circumstances and change them and adapt them as we go on, okay?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you mentioned that you were looking for jobs, but what kind of jobs were you looking for?
Well, the jobs or the profession that I will be starting in Spain, and that will be, my life's profession, is Air and Sea Adventures, which is a center for adventures. With which has everything to do with the air and sea in terms of boating and aircraft, skydiving, and so on. And I wouldn't be finding anything like this in a short time until I leave the country here in the UK. So I will be applying for anything temporarily or temporary work that fits around the
Okay,
hours. So I will be looking, and I use a website called Read, and it advertised literally almost every job that is on the market. So I will be using that website, and I will be applying for any job that temporary work that fits in terms of the hours and my commitment as well to fight for my case. Have I said that I can put the times or what I do in terms of my efforts to fight for my case around anything that would be suitable. So if a job that the hours is a little bit conflicting with my pattern in terms of when I go protesting and when I do the leafleting and all of this, I can change the pattern of leafletting in terms of the times and the protesting to suit this kind of job, if you know what I
yes,
mean.
yes, and what you're looking for. So, and I will go through it in a second. So, what you are looking for is for jobs that are flexible, but also the contracts, like you said, that are fixed term and shorter contracts that you're able to either extend if your date hasn't come soon to move, or that you can carry on doing for now. So, what's your previous experience? So, I know that you're going over, to Spain to focus on, the skydiving and the adventures with the boating and things like that you've got. So it's more or less, the leisure industry. Is that your experience in
Uh,
the UK?
Well, in terms of my experience here in the UK, I am this kind
Yeah.
of a person that there is nothing that I cannot do. So it's all a matter of, and that has been the situation all the time. I mean, since I stepped foot in the UK and started apply, I mean, I arrived in the UK in November 2004, and I started looking for job in December 2004. And when I look for jobs, I look for jobs that I can do, which literally I can do almost every and any job, especially ones
Okay.
with training.
So
So
if we were to narrow it down to say three of them, what would they be? So would would something in terms of catering
uh,
be something that you've done before in the past? Because obviously I know that you say that you can do a lot, but we need to kind of narrow that job search down. Is
uh,
it care work? Because I know you did have care assistance before on your job search.
yeah. I'm so sorry, Vanya. I think I cannot understand what you mean. I mean, I explained to you I will be applying for I'm flexible in terms of jobs, so I will go and read
Okay.
website and every kind of job advertised that is temporary, or at least even if it's not temporary.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
even if they advertise it as permanent. However, I can see that the times or the hours, and it's a job
Okay.
I can do. I will still apply for it, and I will explain to them in my application, if applicable, if possible, or if they can give a chance to explain my situation. Otherwise, I will apply for it, and when if they get back to me to shortlist people and I'm chosen, then I will explain to them prior or beforehand any kind of interview my situations.
Yeah.
So the
And that
possibilities.
would depend on the kind of position you apply for and how many hours it's for and and how long it's for. So that would depend on the job that you apply and when you do apply, okay? So at the moment, am I right in saying that you're looking for retail work, warehouse work, sales?
I'm so sorry. Are you trying to put on paper, and for example, first
Yes,
the three
we
jobs?
have to agree,
All right.
and
Okay.
we have to really, really, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've done this previously, and you've had warehouse and sales work on it, and I was just wondering if that's where your experience was.
Well, again, I mean, I'm so sorry. I hope I'm not like answering your question, or I mean, in another way, or rehearsing, or we're going to the same point. But as I tried to explain,
I,
the experience in the UK does not make any difference any longer because I'm leaving the country, and any job I would take here wouldn't be something that I would be doing for long term or for the future, or I would settle in that job or whatever. It's gonna be just temporarily. So it is irrelevant to think which one would come first. Anything that would be
I understand,
advertised.
but we need to have that in place. So if we cut it down to retail, warehouse, and sales, are you happy with that? Because that's probably where you'll find most of the temp work.
I would say, yeah, I would say number one, of course, if I find any,
Yeah.
it would be in aviation and boating, which is in the same
Okay.
it's in the same sector of my future business. So I would say
Good. Good.
number one, if I find this job, even if I know for sure I'm leaving the country, nothing is gonna change this. However, if I find
Okay.
something temporarily that is in aviation, in any sector in aviation,
And
or
then
boating,
we can discuss that. Yeah, we can discuss opportunities and we can review, your work search on a weekly basis and then just kind of take it from there and see what is available. I think we just need to get this bit out of the way first and then we can then start having a look at what is available out there and, what you can do temporarily.
yeah.
And
So
like I said, if things change, by the next time I speak to you, then all you need to do is just update me with that date that you're moving, and then things will change for you. Okay?
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
the requirement was so it's minimum wage or more, and up to full-time hours. But that obviously depends on what jobs you're applying for and how much and what term they're applying for. At the moment, how do you travel to work? So do you have a car, a driving license, or is it um, public transport?
Well, I mean, the situation, of course, has changed, and I cannot even afford to rectify this. However, I always had a car that I travel with, especially when it's a rainy day or a cold day, and so on. Have I said that the car has broken down and it's not fixable? and I'm still keeping it just because I am storing some of my stuff in it, and it's cheaper rather than reserving a storage
Okay.
space and paying so much. But I have as well a motorbike that I can commute with.
Okay. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Motorbike. You have a motorbike that you can commute with, yeah?
Yeah, at the present time, yes, because my car is broken down. Yes.
Okay. So it's up to 90 minutes, but that does depend on where you're applying. If it's with boating and aviation, obviously it depends on how far you look from how far you are from the coastal areas and any obviously airports or it depends on how yes where you're located and where you're looking for work. So we obviously look around nearest first and then work our way outwards up to 90 minutes travel each way. Okay.
Uh,
And
uh,
your interview availability is immediately and work availability. You're immediately available for work?
100%. I mean, if
Okay.
I find something that I can do, and I mean within what we discussed, and something the hours as well and temporary work or even permanent, but they still can take me on, knowing the circumstances and that I will be leaving any
Okay.
moment. Yeah, they are 100%.
Brilliant. Okay. And I'm sure, like I said, you will find that some employers are, more lenient towards working with, cases like yourself because actually they only need temporary work and it might only be just for a few weeks. Um, so you mentioned Reed and you mentioned that you were applying for Reed for any of the suitable vacancies that you're finding. Are you finding any other websites of good use?
Throughout my experience looking for work, and which is 100% extensive, and I applied for lots of jobs, and was on lots of platforms. There is one website that I have used after all of this, and it proved that most of the jobs, even from other platforms
Yeah.
and search engines, that actually advertise on that website, which is Read
Okay.
website. So all the jobs you find in any other, I mean 99.9% that you find in any other, work advertising or jobs advertising websites and so on, all in the end pour down in Read, and you find it advertised there. So rather than
Yeah.
distracting myself looking in zillions and or subscribing for zillions of you know
Yeah.
recruitment agencies or whatever, Read, everything is appearing there.
Okay, and another one, because like you said, instead of subscribing to loads of agencies or search sites, do you use social media at all, like Twitter or LinkedIn or even Facebook? Do you use any of them at all?
uh, that will take me to a fact regarding my situation and the case I'm taking to the
Okay,
court, which I wouldn't want to discuss it in this phone call, Vania. But what I would like to say is I don't use these social medias,
social media.
not because I
Okay,
don't want to, but because of circumstances and facts that I experienced and was done to me online, which part of it is gonna be dealt with in the court of law, and I'm taking this
that's
case to the court.
that's
So
that's
I
okay.
wouldn't want
There's
to
still
discuss
other
this.
ways you can look. Yeah. So if you're not part of social media and you don't want to use that, then that's fine. There's other search engines that you can use. The last time you spoke to one of us, you said that you were registered with Team Jobs and City Centre Recruitment. Are you still getting any weekly updates from them or any vacancies from them?
No, at all. There is another. Again, I don't want to discuss this on the phone, but it is related to the case as well that will be taken to the court. I don't want to go into details, but as I tried to explain, every job advertised in these organizations or these agencies are advertised on Read. Have I said that? For some reasons,
Yeah.
some of them I wouldn't be applying for any job they would be advertising, uh, for for reasons that I'm taking. I mean, there is a case to the court that will be
I
including this, which I
understand
don't want to.
that,
Yeah.
and that's separate. But what we need to do is really, really have a discussion about how you're going to be searching, and you just can't. I'm happy with you saying that you will use different search engines and read and apply for any suitable vacancies. But the reason why I'm asking these questions is because one, we're going over a commitment review and just making sure that what you had in place is still relevant now. So, like I said, there's a were in place. So if that's not in place, what do we do instead? And maybe there's other ones that you can look at, which means that you don't have to register, but you could probably have a browse to see what's available, and just kind of have a look, because different agencies and different search engines will give you different outcomes and different jobs. And I understand what you're saying in terms of everything just being on Read, and we can definitely see how you go with your applications on Read. But you need to widen that search a little bit, especially if you're looking for specific opportunities, in aviation and boating, or even temporary positions. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But what I am sorry if I wasn't that clear, Vanya. But
Yeah.
let me clarify to you. When I said I am looking for number one, for example, jobs for in aviation and boating, and I explained to you that it's not just these sectors of jobs.
No, no, it's not.
Everything and anything. So, for example, when I log on Read website, I search for any job. I mean, I don't put a certain job. What I put is just the postcode that they have for me where I'm staying. And then I put in a radius of 15, 20 miles. And it shows me every kind of jobs that is
Okay.
advertised within 20 miles, if you know what I mean. And then I go
That's
through
fine. We'll,
them.
we'll definitely review it, and we'll see how your work search goes with Read. But if it is, if we're not being successful just using Read, then we need to start looking at different ways. But we can discuss that next time, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
at the moment, do you use any, like Bournemouth Echo or anything else? Are you using anything else to come across any vacancies or opportunities at the moment?
Well, no, not really, because as I tried to explain, 99.9% of the jobs are advertised on Read. And this is not just because I'm saying so. This is my experience being registered even with agencies and other websites. And in the end, I look for all the jobs I find there. I find it on Read in the end. It's just
Okay.
consuming time looking on these
So would
websites.
you be able to identify possible employers that are having that, and so you do that research and see if they do have any vacancies on their own website? So if you could do that for me, in identifying three suitable employers, within 19 minutes of your home, so that we can have a look for any vacancies.
What I do as well
Hmm.
in my free
Yeah.
time when I'm looking for work,
Yeah.
what I used to do, and I think I will be doing it again. I mean, I used to take my motorbike or my car and go for a drive
Yeah.
to the, the industrial estates around
Yeah.
Herne and the airport and all of this, and go to the industrial estates there that have everything to do with aviation and so on, like Honeywell and
Yeah.
other organizations and so on, and leave my CV to them
Yeah.
and ask them to
Yeah.
phone
That's
me back.
perfect.
And
Yeah. That's perfect.
also I used to search online for organizations, certain organizations, get their addresses or email addresses, and send them emails, including my CV and so on.
Hmm. No, that'll be fine. So let me just update that. So you have an up to date CV?
Well, it is up to date because nothing has changed since then. I paid around, I don't know, please don't quote me on the number in terms of the money, but I think I paid about 40 or 60 pounds for a specialized or a specialist online in writing CVs, and I sent the gentleman. He has his own small company for CVs and so on,
Okay.
and I sent him my old CV, and actually he put it, into, he built it, rebuilt it basically, and I think he charged me
Okay.
about 40 pounds or 60 pounds, something like that. And he sent me back the CV after he rebuilt it and so on, and nothing has changed since then, so I presume I still can use it.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to create an upload on your account, all right? And you will need to upload your CV for our next meeting, and then we can just discuss it and just make sure that it's all okay. But like I said, we'll take it one step at a time, and then if things change for you and you do end up moving abroad, then we can then take it,
No, no,
as it is.
that's
Yeah,
absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine.
brilliant.
What I would like to say to you after what we discussed, Vanya, that my departure and leaving the United Kingdom is inevitable and it's gonna happen any moment.
Yeah,
And I am not just saying so to be exempted from looking for work or this and that. This is a fact. I'm leaving the United Kingdom for good, and I will never come back again. And still, I will apply for jobs temporarily and so on
brilliant.
to
Do you
actually.
know how do you know how to do that on your account? So the other next thing that I was going to speak to you about was about keeping a record of your job search and your job
I
applications.
think
So you can do that.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
yeah, I did it many times before. I mean, all the time I did
yeah,
it, which is go to update your journal and then you choose from job search or a job
yeah,
application or something, and then put the details of the employer
yeah,
and all of this. If you go to, I don't know if they keep the records for this time, but if you go back,
yeah.
you go through my
You've done
records
it
and
previously.
job
Yeah,
applications I put there, you're gonna find like every single
brilliant.
job I applied for, I uploaded, which company, when did I make the application, did it end up in an interview or
Yeah.
not, what did they
Yes,
say,
that's
and so on.
exactly what. That's yeah, that's exactly perfectly. So at the moment, if you just go on, you can either use the journal messaging or the job application, and then just keep a record, and then we can catch up, and review them. But also, you can also update them. So if you are going through an interview, or if you've been successful or unsuccessful, you can update them, and we can review. But you can also contact me on the journal, okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah, 100%,
up to
100%.
35 hours, so you're required to obviously to work on that for 35 hours a week, okay? And you would need, just like you said at the start of the call, build any other activity that you have with a leafleting or anything like that around those 35 hours a week of work search and work prep, okay?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know if you found this in records on my search and my jobs, but at some point I used to work 85 hours a week. I had three jobs.
mm-hmm.
So at some point I used to have three jobs and I used to work 85 hours a week at least.
That's a long,
So
long time work, 85
I,
hours. And it just shows, that you can, have that, organization and make sure that obviously succeed in what you plan for now. Keep you busy until you do move.
100%,
And then when you move,
100%.
yeah, then,
I mean, if someone takes me on board in a job that they know I'm leaving the country any moment, and they know, that literally I'm not staying in the country for long, or I'm not trying to look for a job for future. I have my own business that I will start in Castellon in Spain, and that I'm gonna leave the country any moment. However, I need to sort out the case and my compensations first, which can happen and even I might even leave once the case in the court, because I know my compensations
yeah.
will follow. So if they take me on
So
board like this, that would be okay.
yeah. No, those, and like I said, you will find and you'll be very surprised that there are employers out there that are really just looking, like the short little bursts of work here and there, and you'll be able to fit that in until you do move, okay? But keep me updated and make sure that you keep in contact with me, and then we can then discuss it if things come up, okay?
Yeah,
You need to accept your commitments within 7 days. So everything we've spoken about today is your commitment, and you need to go onto your account and on your to-do list there is a little tab that will say accept your commitments. They have to be accepted within 7 days, otherwise they cause a payment blocker on your account. So normally I would suggest if you get off the call, stay with me and then go onto it straight away to have a look. Because like I said, you don't want to get 7 days time and then forgotten that you haven't done it, and then it causes that payment blocker. Okay?
yeah, yeah, no, no, 100% I will.
Brilliant.
And
So
what
that
I
will
will,
be on your to-do list.
yeah, and what I will do, I will for every job that I will apply for, as I used
Yeah.
to, I will put it in as an entry in the activities I do, and you will find that the name of the employer, the
Yeah.
kind of job, what
Thank you.
application, and all of this. And even when when they get back to me, for example, if they gave me an interview or whatever, I will still update on the journal as
Yeah.
well.
And we will keep in touch, and we can obviously, discuss anything that comes up, and I'll keep an eye on it as well. And if there is anything, if you're offered anything temporarily as well, then I'm able to discuss that with you on what it looks like for you. Okay?
Yeah,
There
that's
was just one more thing that I wanted to go through with you. So
yeah.
obviously, I do understand that you have quite a lot going on in the background, and you've mentioned it a few times. Did you need any help at the moment in terms of me giving you some telephone numbers for money guidance or any citizens advice if you need any extra support with everything that you've got going on?
So, sorry, Vanya, could you please be more specific in terms of what your understanding about
So
what I'm going through and what you believe you can help with, so I
I
can
can't help,
understand.
but what I can do is pinpoint you to somebody that might be able to help. So what I'm trying to say is that, you've mentioned a couple of times. So on our last phone call, you mentioned that you had quite a lot of money and you didn't want to become, homeless. So it was just to make sure that, you were okay and you were managing okay and you had the right signposting to the right people to speak to about your situation.
All right.
Even if that person isn't me, then I can signpost you to citizens advice maybe, and they'll be able to support. And if it's a housing issue, then maybe the local Bournemouth council or any other signposting available. But that is totally up to yourself. And if you feel like you've got it all under control, I don't have to provide you with those numbers if you don't wish.
Well, I'm so glad that you started talking about this and offered me to help. And I am going to seize this opportunity and chance. And I hope you don't mind if you can spare me a couple of
When I
minutes.
before you go ahead though, we don't have much time because obviously these calls are for work related. What I meant was in terms of help, I can signpost you to organisations and provide you with their details with regards to what help you can get, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
So
I
the
do.
help wouldn't be necessarily from us. Yeah.
Yeah, I do understand, and I was gonna explain to you
Yeah.
briefly because I know you don't have much time. Basically,
Yeah.
and simply and briefly, I am taking a
Yeah.
very serious case to the court against authorities that abused me and did to me lots of unbelievable stuff. And if you know human rights organizations, international human rights organizations, or you know of that you can pass my details to or my number, or you can be like intermediate, you can get them to contact me, or the human rights court in Europe, you know someone there, or the human rights commissioner in Europe, or human rights
Have you
activists.
been in touch? Have you been in touch with Citizens Advice? Because they would be able to signpost you to something related to human rights in Europe or internationally. Have you
I
been in touch with them?
I again, this is not the first time someone refers to this kind of organization, and I promise you, in 2014, 2015, and 2016, in total, I paid about 10 plus visits to their offices in different places,
Okay.
asking them for help, and I promise you, uh, it's not just that they couldn't help me, they actually I was even misled at some point. So
Yeah.
I don't why would I, after all of this experience with them, that I would go now and ask them again for help? What has
No,
changed?
that's fine. And it's important for me to know that you have gone down that
Yeah,
route and it hasn't worked out. So, as long as I know, then, normally that would be the first place that you would go to.
I would appreciate,
But if you
yeah,
haven't gotten,
yeah,
yeah,
I would appreciate, Vanya, if you actually know, have any connection, or you can contact any international, and when I say international, especially Europe
yeah,
and the USA, any
I
organizations,
don't, I'm
especially
afraid that I
human.
don't have that kind of,
But
I don't have
I
that
mean,
kind of,
maybe not
yeah,
now. Maybe somehow you're gonna
yeah.
come across, any of these
Yeah,
organizations.
if I come across
Yeah.
anything, I will put a note in your account and I will definitely provide you with their details so that you can speak to them. But like I said, the first port of call is always citizens advice. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware and that you could approach them if you needed to. But if I come across anything else that might be able to help, I'll put it on your journal so you're aware, okay?
Okay, no worries.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time today. Do you have any other questions?
No, no, at all. I mean, you covered everything, and
Okay.
we agreed on everything. I will be applying for every and any job that would suit me, even permanent, that would take on board someone who is leaving any moment. And I will explain this to them. And I will actually today, I mean today, or even before the end of this week, and I'm gonna put it in my journal. I will search and contact. My number one priority for any job, because it's related to my future business I will establish in Castellon in Spain. I will contact organizations like Honeywell and any organizations that works in aviation and boating and all of this, and I will see if they have any opportunity, and I will email them my CV, and I will upload my CV to the journal as well, so you have a copy of it.
I
And
will add the link onto your account, okay? So you'll see it there.
no, no,
Immediately,
100%,
okay?
100% before Saturday, or at least before Sunday. I might do it even on Saturday. I will contact these organizations. I mean, like Honeywell and other aviation and boating, and I will put it in the journal. And I'm gonna copy and paste
Yeah.
a copy of my
And we will,
CV into the journal, and yeah, and I will update you as well.
um, yeah, definitely. And we will speak again. So I've arranged a new appointment for you for next Friday at 9:45. All right. And then we can catch up then and give you a little bit of time to upload what you need to, and also have a look at what's available out there. Okay.
No worries.
Brilliant. Well, lovely speaking to you. Have a lovely day, and I'll speak to you again next week.
No worries.
Take
Well,
care.
thank you very much, Vanya, and
Bye
thank you
bye.
very much for your help,
You
and have a
too.
great day. Thank you.
You too. Bye bye.
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 Bye. And as you could hear, that was the phone call with a lady called Vanya from the Universal Credit. She seems to be the coach who's coaching me to get back to work. Just to make it clear, I will be looking for a temporary work, and I'm definitely leaving the country once I get my compensations, or at least once the case is in the court and all of this. There is no way I would be starting anything in the UK that would be like a profession or a future job or whatever. My job, my profession, my business is gonna be air and sea adventures, which I'm gonna start in Castellon de la Plana using the compensations I'm gonna take from the government. And anyone in the government, from high authorities, trying slyly and cunningly again, trying to compensate me with a building a profession, I'm gonna say it's too late for anything like that. It's my financial compensations, my freedom, so I can restart my life in Castellon de la Plana. Use this to start my business, air and sea adventures, air and sea adventures all the time, forever, until the last breath in me. Thank you for watching.